but you might be surprised. You might change. Like you do,
I don't.
you do go through evolutions in how you feel. Like for me, as I said, when I was 22, yeah, I was more open to potential
Moving,
experiences.
yeah.
Yeah, like now it's like I like traveling, but I don't feel the need to live in another country. I'm happy with what I'm doing here anyway. So I want to kind of build. That's where I'm at.
Makes sense.
Can I ask a question? Do you think in 10 years' time people will start wearing not smart, but it'll be the environment will be more smart casual, their clothes in 10 years' time?
Certain environments, but no, I still think it will still. I don't think in 10 years' time. I don't think things are going to be dramatically different.
So you don't think it's going to just be casual, like
No. I think
like Apple or Google, how they work in there?
no. I think a lot of workplaces now are casual smart, but it will still be seen as smart tie to wear a suit. In certain for interviews and for certain environments, it will still generally. I don't think much is going to change in 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we get into it?
Yeah. Cool. Was that filming already?
Yeah, that was filming.
Cool.
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
That can be a question. Yeah, that would be a question, man. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Rommell Says. Just coming from a workshop. It was really good today working with some young people. So hopefully, I'm still got the energy to answer your questions today. So, let's get into it. What's the questions? What's going on?
Okay, first question is from Adam Drummer
Okay.
on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Would you hire someone based on character or skill? And what's more important?
It's funny. It's like I think a lot of times people ask like either or questions, and the reality is it's a combination. Like I would want the best combination of character and skill. However, I would say if I had to choose between the two, I'd go for character. I would go for character. I would say that with the skill, you can develop the skill. The character, you can't develop the character. So if someone, well, in fact, you can. In fact, scratch that. You can develop character. You can develop your attitude, and we all grow and evolve as we develop as people. But it's harder to develop someone's character. It takes a longer time, I think, to change someone's character. So I'd rather, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose someone that's got a really good attitude, really good character, real passion, real desire to learn, and then I would teach them the skills that they need. But ultimately, I would probably look for a combination of both.
Cool. We've got another tweet here from James.
Yeah.
That says, "Can I use social media to help me get a job?"
Definitely, in this day and age. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not the social media king, so I can't give you like loads of tips and advice. But definitely, LinkedIn is very useful. Had lots of people say that they've got jobs and opportunities through LinkedIn and developing networks through that. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat nowadays. You look at DJ Khaled. I know he's killing Snapchat. So, earlier we were talking about the chicken connoisseur. And now he's out now and he's killing social media. I'm having lots of people telling me about him. So it's just a very good way of getting visible. And depending on what you want to do, it can be just so relevant to what you want to get into. If you want to get into technology or social media or marketing or digital marketing, whatever, social media is going to be fantastic for that. And so many other things. If you're creative, I think one of the best things about social media is given a platform for people to be able to do things for free a lot of the time that they were never able to do before, and get exposure and get traction with it. So if you're creative with it and you want to use it in some way to promote your skills or your interests or your ideas in a field you want to get into, social media is a fantastic platform to do that. So definitely, yeah.
Okay, a question here from Katie Jones, email question. I want to start a business. What should I consider?
It's complicated. It's another one of those questions where it kind of depends on the business and what field you want to get into. I think some of the things you have to consider is obviously the idea initially. Like, is it a good idea? Is there a space for it in the market? You know, is it needed? Are there people already doing it? What's unique about your business? There's so many things to consider, but another thing you've got to consider is, do you have the passion for it? Because it is hard work. The reality is there's going to be challenges, there's going to be knockbacks, there's lots of things you're going to have to learn along the way. There's going to be mistakes you're going to make. You've got to have the resilience to do it. And you can't avoid the fact it's going to require hard work. You know, when I started SAY, I was still working full time. You know, particularly when we started doing the workshops, it was, you know, a lot of annual leave was getting used. And then when that started to become a problem, it's like, oh, how can I find a way around that? Working in the evenings, like for years, I was just always working. Like, I'd go to work, do my 9 to 5, come back in the evening, I'm still working on stuff till late at night. So you got to have that work ethic. You got to have a desire to put the work in and actually go through the evolution of that business, of it going from nothing, from going from an idea to actually turning into something. That doesn't happen overnight. You know, sometimes it might seem like that. You know, we live in a society where you see success and it looks like it's just happened overnight. But the reality is, there was a lot of work that usually goes into that overnight success beforehand. So you got to have that work ethic. So there's so many things to consider. So ways that I would say that you can go about trying to identify the things you might need to consider and start learning some of those things. YouTube can be a great way. You know, watch videos of people that start businesses and give advice. Maybe look at getting a mentor. That can be a great way as well. Someone that's done that can maybe give you advice on the field you're trying to get into, or starting a business, or wherever it might be. There are organizations out there that help people starting businesses. So when me and my business partner Paul, when we started Serious About Youth, one of the early days, we applied to an organization called Unlimited, and they provided support. They provide support for social enterprises, and then they provided like access to workshops, training, mentors, etc., as well as some initial funding to help with starting the business. So that could maybe be some things you could do to help you get more specific advice about what you actually want to do for your business.
And this one's from Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
If you were 18 now, what would you do to get a job?
If I was to be honest, I don't think I'd do that much different than what I did before. I mean, when I was 18, in fact, my first job, I got my first job, I was still 15. Because I'm a summer baby, I'm at the end of June. So when I done my GCSEs, I think I was still 15, and then I got a job very quickly after I left school. So I think I was 15, turning 16. And yeah, the way I would go about it now, I would same way I went about it then. You know, start looking. You know, looking in newspapers. Nowadays, you have the internet as well, so you can actually go online and go to company websites and go to job websites. Because, you know, it's funny, when I was 15, 16, to be honest, the internet wasn't so prevalent, to be honest. So there wasn't even that option as much. So you've got more options now with the internet and things like that, and social media and networking. So basically just put it out there. Create a good CV that sells you well. Get support and help with that. Ask friends and family about jobs and things that they have, that opportunities they have available. What else? Use the internet. Still go out to shops directly and give your CV. There's so many things that you can do to get a job. So that's what I would do. Wouldn't be that much different than what I did in the past.
Cool.
So for this last question now, we actually have somebody that's coming today from Amsterdam, actually fresh off the plane. So, you know, we're really happy to have you here today. So this is Anaya. So if you'd like to come in. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good, thanks.
You all right?
How are
so
you?
I'm good. So Anaya is she's a designer. So she's got a really interesting background, but she's got a question for me. I think in another episode we might actually do an interview with her now.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be really good. But all right, so what's your question?
So my question is, what do you think about international job opportunities? For example, why do you think, i.e., a lot of career starters don't open up their horizons and look for jobs outside?
Yeah, okay. I think there's a few layers to that. I think one of them is that probably just exposure to those opportunities. So I think most young people in the UK don't necessarily get exposed to opportunities internationally. They don't actually know what kind of opportunities are available and how to actually access it. So I think if they were exposed to it more, they would actually see there are lots of opportunities that they could do internationally. I think another one probably might be fear as well, because I think particularly if you're fairly young, you might, and if you haven't travelled much before, you're not going to necessarily have that confidence to go to another country, particularly if there's a language barrier and stuff like that. So I think that could be an issue. And I think other than that, I think that's probably one of the main things. Just that whole thing of going beyond what you know.
Okay.
You know London. You're comfortable there to say I'm going to apply to a job in America or Paris, or it's kind of like, what am I, how am I going to compete with people abroad? So. Okay,
but also you said, going back to your first answer, you said that you don't think that there are the opportunities.
No, I think people don't know about opportunities.
But I feel like it's very open. I mean, the internet is the most explosive encyclopedia that anyone has ever known.
It's true.
So why do you feel like they still feel like there's no opportunities, even if, let's say, they can't find it within their own local environment? Why is it that they still don't bother to break that barrier when there are the opportunities and they still don't use the internet for what its purpose is?
Well, to be honest, it's probably maybe in some ways being a bit closed-minded. Because to be honest, doing the kind of work we do, we get people that say there's no opportunities in London, and I know that's not true.
It's a huge city.
That's it, So, and I think a lot of that's because either they're not aware of the opportunities available, or they don't maybe push themselves to look enough and become aware of the opportunities available, or maybe there's schools and other organisations that they maybe engaged with don't give them that information. So maybe there's a range of reasons why, but people are saying that about London itself. So to then think about going beyond London, a lot of people just aren't thinking about that. And then a lot of people are probably thinking about, maybe costs involved, travelling abroad and haven't got the money to do it. So I think there's a lot of things that people just don't think of it as an option. So I think actually it's probably that's just not opening their mind enough to actually realise there are those opportunities.
I feel like that's a big part of why there's unemployment these days, because people are closed-minded. So another thing would be, how do you think we could break the cycle of people being closed-minded to actually just even start by getting your first job to your next job, and then actually maybe even moving abroad?
Well, to be honest, I guess that's partly why I kind of started Serious About Youth with Paul, because we want to engage young people and make them aware that these opportunities are there, and to learn and understand more how to go out there and get those opportunities. So that's I think that's what we're trying to do, to really show young people these opportunities are there and how to engage them more effectively. So
thank you
some
for
interesting question
answers.
Huh? Yeah. So should us wrap it up now?
Wrap it up, man.
Cool.
We're done. It's the last question.
All right. So that was the last one. So thank you very much for your question, and for joining me today. And thank you everybody out there for joining us today. So that was episode 3 of Rommell Says. The social media is at the bottom of the screen. So get in touch. Give me more questions. Try and answer them. Hopefully I have more guests coming in as well. And we look to get an interview in the near future. So thank you.
Ciao.